So, farming games are weird because they're literally everywhere
Oh yeah.
to the point where you don't even know what. And they're oddly addictive.
Yes.
They really are.
Yes.
I think and obviously one of the most famous ones of all time is back in the old days of Facebook
gaming. You know.
Farmville. Who
Farmville.
didn't play Farmville?
I don't know a single. If someone says they didn't play Farmville, they are lying to you because they did, and they just don't want to.
Or they're an adult who didn't really use Facebook
Well, yeah, that too.
during the
I
time.
feel like during our generation, if you didn't play Farmville, you're lying. You did, and you just don't want to admit it.
No, I mean not everyone was addicted to it like some people were.
Oh yeah. I remember too. One of the biggest things about Farmville was like you get like requests, like it
Oh, yeah.
encouraged you to like bug your friends
Yeah.
with notifications.
Oh, Gayley'd be like, "Ooh, your friend needs help with Farmville. Help them out." It's like, leave me the fuck
Go
alone.
alone. I don't care.
I was so done with it by that point, especially when it was at its peak. I played it. Hey guys, I'm Bill, also known as the Barbecue Games on Instagram.
And I'm Alex, his sister, who brings only chaos.
And together we are the Gaming and Collecting Podcast, a mostly video game centered podcast.
But half the time, we just talk about anime.
And that collecting thing, well, that's mostly just an implication at best,
So come along and enjoy us on this adventure.
as we discuss the games that shaped us.
Oh.
So, how you been?
That'd be good.
Yeah,
The only podcast is like 20 minutes
yeah,
ago.
it's been like 20 minutes since
I
the
watched
last
some
one.
TikToks of cats
Of course you did.
and a
'Cause
bird that fell out of a girl's hair.
I don't do TikTok, so I'll leave that to you. But yeah, so we just finished recording another podcast, so now we're just heading on to this one. So we don't really have a "How You Been" segment, unless you want to talk about how Tillard was a freaking monster the
Yeah, I
entire
don't
last.
know what got into her, but she just was like all up in our business like
Yeah,
the whole time.
she attacked you at one point.
Yeah, she like was swatting at me, and I was like, "What do you want from me?"
Yeah, that was pretty extreme. I mean, other than that, we haven't really done anything else. We're mostly just getting into it, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
we're still not drinking anything because it's
No,
3:00.
we finished our coffees. Oh, we
Yeah.
gotta figure out where we want to eat dinner.
Yeah, that's about it.
What do you want for dinner?
I have no idea. We'll figure it out.
Do you want like a salad, or do you want?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. This isn't the time for that.
Yeah, it is. It's our "How You Been" segment, except what do you want to eat segment.
I don't know. I can't think about it right now.
Womp womp.
So, anyways, I guess we'll just kind of hop right into this subject because this one is interesting to say the
Yeah.
least. So, Alex, do you like farming?
Yeah, I want a farm.
I know you did bring this up earlier. You want to start a farm.
I do. One day, when I'm like older and like gonna retire, I want a farm.
So, do you like video games, Alex?
Yeah.
Do you like farming and video games?
It would be unfortunate if I didn't like video games. I was doing a video game
I know.
podcast with you.
Right.
But yes, I like
You
farming.
mean we're not
and
an
video
anime
games.
podcast?
No. We're not even talking about anime this episode,
I
so
know, for once. So we haven't watched anything.
no. But later,
Yeah, we have plans for later, that's for sure. But anyways, so you like farming.
yes.
Do you like farming video games?
Yes.
Because that is a very prolific subgenre
Oh, yes.
these
it
days.
is.
Sometimes they border with RPGs, other times they border with
Facebook.
Facebooks, other times they border with simulations. Oh, farming games. They've been around forever.
Yeah.
And it's hard, honestly, it's kind of hard where to really start with this one, because I guess the first time I ever saw a farming game was probably in the store, in just Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
So the series is known as Harvest Moon's probably, I guess, the first one, one of the most iconic like farming video games. They're like kind of like RPGs mixed with farming,
Yeah.
as you'd say, and social aspect. They're very. Some are just straight up farm. Like obviously, like there's some games like Farming Simulator out there, which is literally just farming
Yes.
the game. But then you get like these ones that have like stories and like stuff. Like Harvest Moon is probably like the most famous, and Harvest Moon is based off of a series in Japan, and the name Harvest Moon mostly came from Natsume, the company that publishes it. That was the name that they used for localization, because the first game was a very late Super Nintendo game, which is a very expensive game these days. But the Super Nintendo one is kind of forgotten in later days, and it was followed up by, there was a Game Boy port, and then the most famous entries probably from the early days of the franchise were Harvest Moon 64, which was the N64 game.
Yep.
And then Harvest Moon Back to Nature, which was the PlayStation one.
Oh, okay. Were they basically the same game?
They were different games. Every Harvest Moon is essentially similar. They have different things. I've gone over the series multiple times before on my blog. They're very hard to describe each one individually because they do have differences, but they also have similarities. And
were both of them in 3D? The N64 version
and the PlayStation version were.
Okay.
They kind of use pre-renders a lot of the times, though,
Yeah.
too. But those were probably the first two really iconic games. Like, Back to Nature and 64 were probably the two that most people remember. 64 was more of a sim game. Back to Nature had more RPG elements.
Yeah.
And I remember, I never owned them back in the day. Like, we never did.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing, like, people who did, and, like, people would go on, like, it's almost like Animal Crossing. People would just go on binges with these games, and they would never put them down. And that series kind of continued on into, like, the next era, where you had, like, games like Save the Homeland, although that one was more of that one had a different kind of tone than the rest of the series. And then probably another iconic set of games was the Friends from Mineral Town games, which were the ones released for the Game Boy Advance. And what was funny about Harvest Moon games at the time was, rather than doing like a choose a male or female character system, they instead did this kind of thing where they'd have different versions of the game, almost Pokemon-like.
Oh, okay.
Where like the earlier games didn't include this yet. I think the first ones that really did were the Mineral Town games, because you had Friends from Mineral Town, which was the male version of the game. Then there was More Friends from Mineral Town, which was the female version, where you played as the female protagonist.
Wow.
This was also done with the GameCube entries, which were A Wonderful Life and then Another Wonderful Life. Which, and the GameCube ones are probably another one of the most iconic ones to play. They're all very good, but it's kind of like you only need to play one, and then you're done. And the series continued on for a while. Like, there was PSP entries, a ton of DS entries.
Isn't one of the main aspects of the game too is that like you get married?
Yeah,
like,
you form. It's literally a life. It's like a simulation / farming game where
It's Persona except for farming.
kind of.
Instead of battles, you just farm.
Yeah.
But the relationship aspect is the same.
Well, it's funny though, because if we go on, because Harvest Moon continued on for a while, and like the games would all sorts of different systems. The DS ones kind of got lamer as they went on.
Oh, really?
Well, because they were just oversaturated by that. But there's like 7 DS games, I swear.
But do you think it might just be like your take on it, or is it kind of like where the Pokemon games, where there's so many that like you lost interest?
I just think
I
think they just got started getting stale.
Oh, they got okay.
Because there is a canon, like they do kind of have like a timeline in a sense. It's not very apparent. Because the final DS game, A Tale from Two Towns, I actually think is one of the best ones in the series, because they switched it back up. Then the 3DS came out, and they switched over to the 3DS. And then this is where things get confusing, because the final game on the 3DS kind of was A New Beginning.
Oh, okay.
Then the split happened.
Yep.
So at this point, this is the Harvest Moon is confusing, because the series would split here, where the owners of the series, Marvelous, decided they were no longer going to use Natsume as their publisher.
Yep.
The thing is, though, Natsume still owns the rights to the Harvest Moon name. So Marvelous took the series, because it doesn't go by Harvest Moon in Japan. I forget the name in Japan.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's like Bakuman something, but they continued, they started releasing the series via Xseed Games, which is Marvelous's publisher, and they renamed the series to Story of Seasons.
Oh, it's Bokujo Gotsuri?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I probably butchered that. Very sorry.
That's what the games are known as in Japan.
Mhm.
So they switched over to Xseed and they started naming the game Story of Seasons.
Stories. Yep.
And they had 2 on the 3DS and then they moved over to the Switch.
Mhm.
The thing is, though, this is where it gets confusing. Natsume, obviously not wanting to lose their moneymaker,
Yeah.
continued to make more Harvest Moon games under the
Oh.
Harvest Moon name with a completely different team,
Yep.
but they're not part of the actual series.
Yeah.
They're their
Story
own.
of Seasons is part of the
Yeah, Story of Seasons is the true continuation of the Harvest Moon series.
Yep.
The current Harvest Moon, which technically started in 07 with Puzzle Day Harvest Moon, which was a puzzle spin-off game, followed by Frantic Farming, which was another puzzle game.
Oh boy.
They then made 2 3DS games, which were
What were those ones?
The Lost Valley and...
A New Beginning?
No, New Beginning was the last
Okay.
official Harvest
A
Moon.
Lost Valley.
There was the Lost Valley, and then there was Skytree Village or something? Or is that a Pokemon town?
I think that's a Pokemon tale. A Wonderful...
No, Wonderful Life is part of the main series.
A Lost Valley. Oh, is it... The East Valley?
No, the Lost Valley.
Oh, I thought there was... Oh, this is just 2 of them. Okay, I thought it was 2 different ones. No, yeah, I'm looking at it, but
Yep.
there was like a picture and it had 2 of them. But it was just like the manual on the inside,
Yeah.
so I got confused.
Nah, I get you. No, it was, yeah, Harvest Moon, the Lost Valley was the first, regular, like, not a spin-off, like, it was kind of like, the first attempting to make their own Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was Skytree Village.
It's so weird. Like, that's just so weird to me that they just, like, split and it became, like, 2 different things.
Yeah,
and then-
well, they have gotten better, like, the most recent one World on the PS4 and Xbox One, I think it's also on the Switch. That one was decent.
Yep.
I mean, it's nothing compared to the
Story of
current
Seasons.
Story of Seasons. Pioneers of Olive Town is phenomenal. But yeah, it's okay, but it's nothing in comparison.
Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of what's happening with Story of Seasons. What's funny though is Story of Seasons actually had spin-offs too that became their own series.
Oh, okay.
Because there was Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons has always been kind of borderline like an RPG in a sense.
Yep.
Like it's debatable whether you want to truly call it a role-playing game or not. Whatever, be it as you may.
Yeah.
But the game actually did see 2 spin-offs like later on in its time. So there was one called Innocent Life,
Innocent Life.
which was supposed to be like a futuristic Harvest Moon take, where you played as like robots and it was like futuristic, kind of like farming.
Yeah.
That one didn't really take off well. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything spectacular.
Yeah, I'm like looking at even just the cover art, I'm like, this looks meh to me. It doesn't look...
I've played the PS2 version. It's not bad, but it's not great.
Is it supposed to be like a disaster, like a
Maybe.
future, like... I looked at one, it looked like one image where...
I haven't played it in years, so I'd have to replay it. But
Let's see.
I remember it just being kind of
Meh.
meh.
At first I didn't realize, when you said a futuristic Harvest Moon, I thought you were just describing it, and I didn't realize that was the whole name.
Yeah.
It looks like, to me, I don't know, looking at this image, does it look like to you like it was like a world ending and they're trying to recover the world?
Maybe. I know you play as a robot in it.
Oh. The kid's a robot?
Yeah, they're like androids or something.
Oh. Weird.
But the other spin-off, because there was 2 spin-offs released at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is the one that actually took off, and that
Yep.
was Rune Factory.
Oh, okay.
Now, Rune Factory is essentially, it's Harvest Moon if you mixed it with an actual RPG, because there's actual RPG combat and mechanics and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's like an action RPG with the farming element.
Yep.
And Rune Factory was so popular that it's actually still going to this day.
Wow.
Like Rune Factory 5, I believe, either is coming out soon or it just came out. It might be out by the time this podcast comes out. Those games though were actually made by a studio called Neverland,
Yep.
and Neverland was the creator of the Lufia series.
Oh.
But those were fun. So
No, they look cool. I'm looking at the pictures.
yeah, the DS ones are great.
They're pretty. They're very pretty games.
4 and 5 are available on the Switch, so you could probably pick those up at some point. But yeah. So moving on then. Now we're gonna. So farming games are weird because they're literally everywhere
Oh yeah.
to the point where you don't even know what, and they're oddly addictive.
Yes.
They really are.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think and obviously one of the most famous ones of all time is back in the old days of Facebook
gaming, you know.
Farmville. Who
Farmville.
didn't play Farmville?
I don't know a single. If someone says they didn't play Farmville, they are lying to you because they did, and they just don't want to.
Or they're an adult who who didn't really use Facebook
Well, yeah, that too.
during the
I
time.
feel like during our generation, if you didn't play Farmville, you're lying. You did, and you just don't want to admit it.
No, I mean not everyone was addicted to it like some people were.
Oh yeah, I remember too. One of the biggest things about Farmville was like you'd get like requests, like it
Oh, yeah.
encouraged you to like bug your friends
Yeah.
with notifications.
Oh, daily it'd be like, "Ooh, your friend needs help with Farmville. Help them out." It's like, leave me the fuck
Go
alone.
on. I don't care.
I was so done with it by that point, especially when it was at its peak. I played it for like maybe a month, and eventually I was kind of like, I'd just rather play Harvest Moon. At least that's an actual game.
Yeah, I think I remember. I think in sorry, that sentence made no sense. It was just me going. I think I remember. But what I was gonna say is I like remember it was basically all it was just the farming, and a lot of it had to do with like a lot of like mobile games and like online free games where you have a limited amount of energy each day, and when you use up the energy, it can either gradually come back after a certain amount of time, or you basically are done for the day and you have to wait until like the next day.
Yep.
To like replay again.
Or you could pester your friends to get more.
Yeah, or pay money.
Well, the pay money came later, like when it became
Yeah.
buy to win kind of games.
Mm.
In-game purchases.
Oh yeah. I remember too. I had a couple of apps. I don't know if any of them are even running anymore because they were like lots of years old.
Probably.
But I remember one specifically. It was. So did you ever play that game like Plants vs Zombies?
I didn't play much of it. I messed around with it maybe once or twice.
So I don't think whoever made this app I'm going to talk about was related to that, but I think they were inspired by that area because there's this like range of time where zombies were like a really big thing. Remember?
Yeah, they still kind of are depending
They
on
still
who.
kind of are, but I just remember there was that period of time. So I had this app I downloaded. It was free, and it was called Zombie Farm. It was basically a farm where you could plant vegetables, but you also planted zombies.
Sure.
And you grew zombies on your farm. And then,
Why not?
But then also, like, with it, though, was, like, a battle system where, like, you'd grow all these zombies because you'd end up fighting, like, a farmer. I need to, like, look this up. I'm looking it up. I don't know if it even, is a thing anymore. Let me see. Yeah, but this is what it looked like. You literally were a zombie farmer, and like you grew a bunch of zombies, and they wanted like brains, but like you could also grow vegetables and
Yeah.
stuff too, because you needed to make money. But it was so weird.
You know what's funny too, though,
different
is
zombie versions.
there was like sequels to Farmville. Like there was Farmville 2, Tropic Escape, and then
Yeah.
Farmville 3, Animals. Like why?
See.
Yeah.
You could you see the gravestones, and then eventually you'd know when they were ready, like when their hands started sticking out or something.
Mm.
But like it was literally just like a farming game where you could farm regular vegetables, but hey, there's also zombies, and then boom, you fight like this farmer. You fight this farmer who's like ruining your business. But oh my god, I just remember vividly playing. I loved this app. Like, I loved it. I played it, like, every day, and it was, like, a pay-to-win kind of game, and if you didn't pay to win, then you just kind of had to wait until your energy refilled for the
classic.
day. And I never paid to win, because I didn't have any money. Um, but I remember it so vividly. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
I played it all the time. And then I think they made like a spin-off version too, where it was like Zombie Town, or Zombie Farm Town. I don't know what it was. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a time.
It's funny though, like you go down the list of all these different farming games, and some of them look legitimately really cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I'm not gonna lie, Farming Simulator 22 looks like a lot of fun, even though it's like the most realistic farming game
Is it
there
on
is.
the Switch?
No, it's a PC game. I'm pretty well. It might be. I'd have to look into it.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's most of
Okay.
these are. I've noticed most of these are only on PC. Like they're all on Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if you want to be technical, Minecraft's kind of a farming game.
No, true. I
You
mean,
can play it that way.
You can. Well, it's funny how like you can kind of take routes in some games where you wouldn't necessarily have to do farming, but like it's an option.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can go full.
Oh, I mean, hell, RuneScape, the farming skill.
Oh yeah.
Like I've been trying to explain that to you. It's funny how it's a thing in like almost every game imaginable. Sometimes, I'm trying to look. Some of these look really cool. Like there's this one called Kinseed. I noticed that's like made by a group of former Fable developers.
Yep.
I'd say it's on Steam. I kind of want to like
Try it out.
yeah, because it looks very similar to a certain other one we're going to
Oh, okay.
get to in a bit. There's another one called like Stack Seal. That looks pretty cool. Minecraft farming
I
simulator.
did also want to bring up too that I think like one thing I didn't realize it, but kind of thinking about it now is like the games like Farmville, where it kind of set up that format of like you play and you have a certain amount of energy, and then after you run out, like you have to it's a check in every day kind of game. Not necessarily that, but like kind of that format of like you play, you have a certain amount of energy, and then you either pay to play some more or you have to wait until the next day. I feel like the farming games kind of brought a lot of more of those to life, because I get like these game ads for like this like house repair game, and
Yeah.
it works like the same, where you have a certain amount of energy, and I've just noticed that it's a very common format now, and I feel like because of games like Farmville and
the mobile
stupid zombie
the
farm
mobile
game,
browser based games.
yeah, like
They're
really brought
addicting
the
too.
time.
That's the thing.
Oh yeah, no,
Like, you
you
get
like wanna
oddly
keep
addicted
playing
to it.
over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Woo.
And we're back.
We're back.
All right. So, farming games are, as we've said, insane,
Yes.
and it's a massive subgenre that you really wouldn't realize is how massive. You wouldn't realize just how massive it is until you actually look into it. Now, so during the Harvest Moon kind of Story of Seasons split, where the series was kind of like all over the place.
Yep.
That's right around the point where you started getting all these different breakaways and like spin-off types.
Yeah.
And quite possibly one of the most well-known was by far Stardew Valley,
Yep.
which we've both played, but Alex has taken it to another level.
I adore Stardew Valley. I love that game so much. I was playing it yesterday. Like, that's the game, like, I'll open up my Switch and I'll be like, I want to play a game. And I'll be like, I'll be scrolling through my games and I'll just be like, it's Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
And I play it all the time.
It's kind of like your Animal Crossing, new Animal Crossing
It's
in
like
a way.
I used to, like, because on my DS, I was always playing Animal Crossing. And I feel like one thing that makes Stardew Valley more addicting is that it does have, like, it has, like, a clock, and it goes through, like, seasons, but each day is, like, only, like, a certain amount of minutes. So you're able to go through the seasons much quicker than you would, like, Animal Crossing, and you're able to do much more in, like, one day. We'll not actually take that back. You're limited to what you can do in one day, but you play multiple days, and then events happen, and you're going through it. But
It's super open-ended too.
and I remember too, like when I first played, I bought it. I remember it was like, I think we just gotten the Switches, and I had a game card, like a $50 gift card, to like buy something on the Nintendo eShop, and
No, you didn't even buy it on the eShop. You bought one of those cards that you can get at like Target.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what I did. So I remember we were in Target, and I think it was like back. I was still in college at this point, and I believe I was home, and it was like we decided to go to Target while I was home, and I was like, I need a new game to play, and Bill was like,
Yeah, and I recommended Stardew Valley because I was like, you like Animal Crossing, you'll like this because New Horizons wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
By this point.
So, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. So I did it. I bought it, and soon enough, like, I instantly loved it.
Like, you're still playing it to this
I still
day.
play it to this day, and there's still so much, like, I can do, and even though I suck at fishing, so I can't finish my... There's, like, so in the game, they have, like, this... You kind of have two routes that you can take in the original. So when you first... So the whole plot is that, you're coming back to your grandfather's or your father's farm or like your uncle, and basically like that family member died, and in his will he left it to you, so you're leaving the city and you're coming to like take over the farm and take care of it. So one of the first characters you meet is obviously the mayor of the town. And the mayor is like, well, this farm kind of tells you about how this farm used to be really special back in the day, and after many years, like, it just lost upkeep and stuff, and he's hoping that you can kind of revitalize.
This is kind of like the plot of a lot of the Harvest Moon series, because this game was heavily inspired by Harvest Moon.
Oh yeah.
It's made by one dude too, which is kind of crazy.
So you can he kind of wants you to revitalize the town, but also like you know, like in your grandfather's memory, who I think you also can like channel him as a ghost, and he gives you a prize if like you achieve all this thing. I haven't achieved it yet because I mostly just do whatever I want, and I don't really follow all the plot point, because I just have fun farming, and like it's nice. I like so that's kind of the main thing. So when you first meet the mayor, there's kind of like you run into two routes. There's this old abandoned building on the property in the town, and it used to be like a town center, community center, where there were like a bunch of different things for everyone in the town to do. But there's also this corporation called the Joja Corporation, and they make like Joja Cola, and they want to buy it so they can make like a factory or something. So you kind of have the choice. You can either like let the Joja company come and like turn it into a factory, or you can turn it into the community center. And if you choose the community center route, you basically have to you'll be able to unlock areas of the community center by acquiring certain items. So one of the things about the game is that there's items that are seasonal. So one of the main things you can do in the game is you can forage for materials. So as you're going through, like, you can find, like I'm in it's the winter right now in my game, so you can, like, find, like, holly on the ground, you can find, like, a crocus, you can find, like, call it, like, a winter root, or, a winter berry, like, a winter snowberry, and you have, like, all these different foraging items. So one of the, things you have able to unlock a room is you have to collect all the different foraging items from each season, and then you can then unlock that room. So I have every room unlocked except for one fish. I cannot catch it because I do not understand the fishing mechanics. I don't get it. It's either I don't get it or I just suck at it and I can't fish. So I just can't catch one, like, it's like a tuna or something, and I just can't do it. So I'm trying desperately. So there's also an option in the game where you can just roam through people's trash cans. But if you get caught doing it, it like will affect your friendship with people because they'll be like, ew, why are you roaming through my trash? But you can find the fish in the trash can. It's like a random chance, but you can find it occasionally, which is how I got some of the other fishes in the game. But that's kind of like the main plot point. And then there's all these different side stories. Because as you meet different characters, you'll like learn about their roots and basically help them along the way and stuff. And it's kind of, you have to be strategic because some people only like certain items, so you have to like give them the item that they want, and then it will help boost their friendship. And then eventually, you kind of go through friendship routes with them, and it's basically like if you play it like me, where like you just like do whatever you want, and you don't really look up walkthroughs. You'll just like walk into random buildings. Like one day I went into the bar, and a cutscene happens, and it's basically like a character moment with one of the like a relationship building moment with one of the characters, and it does punish you if you choose the wrong option. It will ruin your friendship, and you'll have to go back. But it can also like positively affect your friendship, and then eventually, as you play the game, if you can actually unlock romance routes. Which are only at a certain point, which you can either accept or deny.
Borrowed very heavily from Harvest Moon.
Yeah. So you can do that, and then eventually you can get married, and then the person you marry will obviously move to your farm. And then you can also have kids, because my character has like 2 kids, but they never age. I've had them for like 3 years, and they've never grown up.
It's funny because the game really it borrows heavily from like all sorts of games. Like there's a lot of Animal Crossing inspiration. Obviously, Harvest Moon is the heaviest inspiration, but you also can see kind of there's like a Minecraft kind of feel.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to talk about next. So one of the things
Minecraft and Terraria, especially from the art style.
Oh yeah, so one of the things is the mining aspect, where you basically have like this mine shaft in your town. There's kind of 3 mining areas. And I think they've added more as the game has gone by, but one of the main mining areas is like the town mine, and it basically has like 100 floors.
And it's like completely randomly generated.
Well, kind of, yeah. So, like all the items in it are random, but the floor patterns are pretty are the same. They just change the items with each time.
Yeah, it's like procedurally generated.
Yeah,
that's how you say it.
And as you get deeper into the floor, obviously there's like enemies. So
there's even like there's a Harvest Moon, not Harvest Moon. There's a Rune Factory kind of element too.
Yeah, right? So there's like, except like it's not like an RPG. It's like you just are fighting. So there's like slimes, bats, and then there's other creatures as you go along, and you can tell that it's getting progressively harder because the environment will change. So like the first one and the first couple, I think it's like every 10 or 20 floors the environment will change. So the first one is like kind of this rocky area, and then at one point there's like this icy area, and it just goes and goes, and eventually when you get to the bottom you get like a special item. I can't remember. I think it might have been boots or something, or I don't remember. But as you go through and you're mining things, you're able to find like special items, or like precious gemstones. And one of the cool things about the game is that with the items and stuff, there's actually like a museum in your town, so you can like display all the items and eventually unlock the whole museum, which is cool.
Another kind of Animal Crossing-esque thing.
Yeah, kind of Animal Crossing inspired.
What's interesting is this game came out of nowhere.
Oh, really?
Well, it was an indie game that just popped up on Steam one day, and it blew up.
It's so fun, but it's so charming too.
It's been praised as like one of the greatest games ever made.
And I like one of the routes that I did recently was not recently, like a year ago, but I just remember it because some of them are actually really emotional and like very like relatable to like current problems. Because one of the characters, who's also a love route, but I didn't go for that route. He has like a drinking problem, but he has like a daughter, and he needs to like be able to take care of her. So part of your route is to kind of help him get back on his feet and like overcome his like drinking problems and stuff. Because he says like, because I was chatting with him the other day, I was like checking in with him, and he's like, I'm sorry for how I acted when I was drunk. I'm trying to change. So it's really interesting, like kind of deep.
It's
and
such a
emotional.
chill, laid-back game too.
Oh yeah, the music is wonderful. Like it's just every time I play it, I relax.
It's amazing that they gave that a Switch physical release too.
Oh my god, yeah! Like I play it specifically on the Switch, which is also why I haven't been able to unlock it, because I unlocked that museum because I can't cheat on the Switch.
Yeah.
So I have to play it hard. But I kind of like that I'm doing it like that, even though I'm struggling and I can't fish. So if any of our friends are out here who also play Harvest Moon and are good at fishing and can catch me that fish, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. I just really want to unlock my museum. I've been trying for the past 3 years since I've gotten it.
It's kind of cool too. The creator of Harvest Moon, well, the series Harvest Moon's based off of, well, the series that, the Story of Seasons series.
Yep.
Yasuhiro, I believe his name, Wada.
Yep.
He actually praised Stardew Valley for retaining like the freedom that he feels like Harvest Moon lost over time.
Yep.
Like that's kind of cool, like a cool praise. Yeah, that's probably been like the biggest like farming spin-off. It's basically like I joke, it's basically just Farmville on crack.
Yeah. It is so fun. There's so many things, and one of the things cool too is that the creator is constantly adding more content as well. So like because I haven't played in a little bit, and I checked back in today, and I was like, this wasn't here, this wasn't here, this wasn't here, and I was like, what the heck? So he's definitely still very involved in the game and updating it, and it's just, I don't know. Even when
and you could play like online co-op too, like
yeah,
which is kind of cool, or even couch co-op together, just mess with friends.
Yeah,
just a cool.
It's a very, very fun and relaxing game, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who just needs like a nice relaxing time.
And it's cheap. It's not like an expensive game.
No,
either.
Yeah, it really isn't. And you can play it on the PC, and you can play it on the Switch. So
PS4. It's on everything.
Yeah.
I have the physical PS4 disc.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I bought that before it came out on the Switch.
Nice.
But yeah. So just farming games are addictive.
Yeah.
They really are.
They really are, and it's so funny, like, they're still happening to this day. I feel like everyone's like me, and they just secretly want to have a farm.
Simulation games are just super chill. I don't know what it is about them.
Yeah.
There's just something about farming that's, like, relaxing.
Yeah. I think it's, like, the aspect of, like, you're taking care of, like, either, like,
the building and construction management.
Yeah.
You get really, like, into, like, that whole managing structure of these games.
Oh, yeah. And especially, too, like, I'm looking at, like, screenshots now, and it's just, like, inspiring me to play it more, because I'm like, oh, I could do this, and I could build this for my farm,
I could do
and
this,
I could do
that. And
yeah.
then once you go to actually do it, you forget.
No, I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna remember, indeed. Well, especially because, like, I have a shit ton of money, because, like, my farm is successful, and, like, you like, kind of figure out certain things about the game. Like, one of the things that, like, you figure out how to do is that you can grow grapes, and then from there you can make wine from the grapes, and then from there you can age the wine and get it to, like, a certain, like, level, and then it sells for a lot more money. So that's what I do a lot. But I love that game. I just want to play it now that we're talking about it. I really want to play. Oh, and the music is also really great. It's very relaxing.
The music in most of these games is really good. It's super chill.
Yeah, it's very chill. Sorry, I'm yawning.
It's putting Alex to sleep.
It was so relaxing. I just really want to play Stardew Valley now.
Yep.
Damn.
Well, anyways, guys, we're probably going to wrap this one up here, because there's only so much we can really talk about farming games.
I mean, I could probably talk about Stardew Valley for, like, another hour, but I don't think they want to hear that.
Yeah, you were rambling on and me going, yes, right.
Yes.
But anyways, guys, once again, thanks for joining us on the Gaming and Collecting Podcast.
No Tilly interruptions.
Yeah, she wasn't around this time.
Yeah, she's probably napping. She had, like, some fun, and then now she's gonna go peace out and be like, see you later, suckers.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, you can find the Gaming and Collecting Podcast on all your major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. We also are made on Anchor Podcast, and you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, along with Good Pods. Yeah. And the episodes do eventually come out on YouTube. It all depends on whenever I get around to editing the video files. So.
And I booped Bill's figure's nose.
That's nice.
Yes.
But anyways, guys, once again, thanks for joining us, and we will see you all next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.